Right, good morning. It's a very, very cold January morning, and I've come to a decision. And that decision is, after much pontification on my part, to fit some mudguards to my winter bike. Now, I have not normally been a fan of mudguards. I don't like them. My mate's got them. I ride behind him or in front, and all I can hear is him rattling away, clunking away, rubbing, grinding, whatever it is happening with his mudguards, and it literally drives me around the twist. However, he doesn't appreciate it when I do take the lead and I spray him with water off my back wheel. It also causes some other complications as well, because what you tend to find is you do get a lot of water coming off the bike, so you get covered in water, your clothes get covered in mud, the bike get covered in mud, and if you've got some really swanky things, like you have, for instance, like I do, a very nice Garmin radar detector. As you can see, once it gets to this sort of state, it starts to really affect how it works. It doesn't like it. It will give you some false triggers, and the light doesn't shine very well either, so cars don't see you. I mean, I know they don't see you anyway, but they see you even less. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to buy some mudguards. Now, my bike is currently a Giant Revolt Pro gravel bike. Now, I'm running it with 45 tyres, so quite big tyres, on the original Giant rims. And to be honest with you, I literally get covered. The bike gets covered in mud, I get covered in mud. It's just not working. So I went onto the Giant website. I thought, you know what, biggest bike manufacturer in the world, they've got to have some mudguards. They had very, very little in the way of mudguards, and some of the reviews about the original mudguards for the Revolt weren't very kind. They're not long enough, they don't fit properly, they're just not very good. The way that the spokes on the mudguards fit to the bike are absolutely dreadful, and for a company the size of a Giant, it's quite shocking. Anyway, so let's have a look at where we've got to this morning. So I've given the bike a wash. It was very dirty. I've taken the wheels off, and this is the current state of the bike as it is this morning. So there it is. There's my pride and joy. Very, very nice. Now, a lot of people are looking at mudguards, and you can find a SKS mudguards made in Germany that fixed to the top of the fork. In two parts. One part sits at the front, one part sits at the back. I mean, they're going to rattle away like mad. They're also attached with Velcro straps, which means that that's rubbing against the frame. You get any dirt or any mud between that Velcro strap, it's literally going to wear away your paint. Again, not very good. But what Giant have done is they've put you some fixings right down the bottom there, which are your front fixings for your mudguards, but you can't quite figure out where the top fixings are, and actually you have to look quite closely. But underneath the front fork, right underneath there is a screw hole. That is an M5 screw, I believe. It could be an M4, but I think they're M5s, and that's your front fixing for your mudguard. And if you go round, all the way round to the back of the bike, what they've also done is they've also hidden some at the back. So at the top of the stay, there is a hole, normally has a rubber bunging, but I've already taken it out. And then right at the bottom, in there is another hole, normally has a rubber bunging. And again, those are the fixing points for your mudguards. And then obviously you've got your screw fixings built into the frame on the side. So what mudguards have we gone with? After much recommendations from friends, there is only one choice really. I mean, I've looked at loads, I've had a few delivered, sent them all back, didn't like them, and what we ended up with was a set of these, which are Bowtanger NCS fenders, which you can see just there. The size for them, they come in a nice big size, so 38 to 45, so pretty much any gravel tyre you're going to get in there. They have a really nice adjustment system on the spokes. You should be able to get them a really snug fit. What I would say though is when you look at the fittings, these are the fittings that come. I'll remove that one because that doesn't come, giving a bit of the game away there. But these are all the fittings. You can see you've got washers, you've got screws. They've put thread lock on the screws so they won't rattle loose. But what there isn't, and I've not found any mudguards at all that have this, there is no protection between the mudguard fixings and the frame. So what you will need to do before you start this job is you will need to take a trip down to your local Screwfix and get yourself a tap repair kit, which is a set of loads of different sizes of rubber washers for taps. And you'll appreciate that these will give you a bit of a spacing between the mudguard and the frame, but what they'll also do is they'll give you a rubber insulation between the metal of the mudguard fixings and the frame, so you're not going to get any rub, you're not going to get any noise, you're not going to get any vibration. It should do the job really well. So anyway, so let's get one of these mudguards prepared, because you do have to take some things off them, because again, very nicely, Boatanger have decided that that front fixing, which would normally be you fixing through the front of the fork with a very long bolt, they have not pot riveted them on. They've actually fixed them on with the same size screws. So hex heads, you can take them out. So we're going to remove those, because what we're going to do is use one of the holes and we're going to fix them to the bike. So let's do that now. We've prepared the mudguard, we've put a screw through, taken off the metal bracket, put a washer on the inside. We've used a suitably long enough screw. As you can see, we've put one of the tap washers, fixed one of the tap washers to it, which I think is doing a fantastic job there. Really going to give you some insulation between the fender and the front forks. And then I've used a bit of black insulation tape and just blocked up the holes so I don't get any water spraying through. So let's stick them on. Right, so there we go. Mudguard fitted. Now, some of you will notice that I didn't go with that bottom fixing down the very bottom, and I've gone with the side fixing there. One, it looks like a straighter run, but secondly, what I tend to found out was on this bottom fixing, when you put the through axle in, there actually isn't enough room. Surprisingly, there isn't enough room there for all of the washer and the rubber and everything to fit. So I've gone with that top fixing. Looks okay. Should be fairly stable. Won't rattle at all. Let's get the tyre on. Right, so there we go. We've now fitted the front wheel, and I must admit, looking at that mudguard, I mean the mudguard goes all the way around, and like I say, these are on 45 tyres, so they're quite big tyres. And does it centre up on the wheel? Yes, it does centre very, very nicely. And if we tilt around to the side, there we go, in line with the wheel. Yeah, perfect. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, you wouldn't want a better job than that. And not a sound, you know. I mean, I'm really pleased with that. Right then, let's crack on with the back one. Right then, so there we go. We've got our, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, well, let's try it this way. There's one, so you've got one fixing on the bottom there. You could, if you wanted to, decide to drill another hole if you wanted to drop the mudguard right the way down onto the stays, but I don't really think there's any point. So one fixing in the bottom, one fixing in the top. I mean, it is a little bit harder, that one, because what you have to do is you have to mark on the fender where the hole needs to be and drill a hole. Again, the easiest way to do it is to, when you look there, is put a screw in, put the fender on, rub the fender against the screw. That'll nicely mark the fender so you know where you need to drill. And then again, like I say, put your tap washer. So if you look there, there's a gap. You've got a tap washer in there, giving a nice bit of insulation between the frame and the fender. And then a 20mm M4 hex domed head screw. I'm cutting mine, but you can just order some 20mm ones off eBay. Get them in, make sure you order stainless steel, and you'll be good to go. And then obviously the last thing I've got to do now is I've just got to cut these because they're a little bit long and as you can see sticking out quite a bit, but again I think they'll probably be about 20mm ones. So if you order what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you order 7 or 8 off eBay, 20mm M4s, you're going to be fine. You won't have to do any cutting like I have today. Right, let's get these cut. Let's get the back wheel on. Right, so there we go. There's my screws. M4s cut down to 20mm. So if you want to order some off eBay, you need some M4s, length 20mm with hex dome tops. Let's get them fitted. Right, so the back one was a little bit more involved than I thought. So let's have a look what we've had to do then. So turn the camera around. There you go. So as you can see, top mount, can't run a washer in there because there is physically, I put the washers on, tightened them all up, put the wheel on, and there is physically just not enough room for clearance between 45mm tyres and the frame of the bike. So we've taken the tap washers out, put just the 20mm screw in, fix it in place. We've done the same down the bottom. Let me go around and show you so you can see. We've done the same down the bottom there. We've taken the washer out and we've actually fitted it straight against the frame. We did stick a little bit of self-amalgamating rubber tape down there, same as we did there. You can just see there's a little slither of rubberized tape just to keep it off the frame so it's not touching the frame. Anyway, that's all snugly fitted in place. We've done the adjustments, we've put the screws in on these fixings here. Everything was fine, but like I said, if we put the rubbers spacers on the actual mudguard themselves, when you put the wheel on, the wheel won't turn round. And although mudguards are a good idea, you do have to have your wheels go round instead of the mudguards physically stopping them from going round. So one other thing, Giant Revolt, one of the really good thing about the Giant Revolts is they have this here, which is the flip chips. So what you can do is you can flip the chips around and you can lengthen the wheelbase of the bike. So that's what we've had to do. So like I said, no spacers at all around the down tube because you just can't get any there on the seat tube. No spacers. Longest wheelbase setting there is on the bike. So I usually ride it in the short wheelbase, but now I've had to go into the long wheelbase and everything is fine. And to be honest with that, I mean, they do look really, really good. And if you proof is in the pudding, when you spin the wheel up, I mean, you can hear there is no rubbing whatsoever. Those mud guards are not in contact with that wheel or that tyre at all. I don't think they ever will. And if you look at it from the back, I mean, they're nicely lined up on the back. It's going to keep you fairly dry. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. It was a little bit more work than I thought it was going to be. However, there's the bike, front and back fitted. It should be fine. All we need to do now is go out on a rainy day and see if we get covered in dirt. Speak to you soon. Cheers.